we talked about it earlier. Stop the big play. No, you're fine. No, that was good. You're good. Is stop the big play and communicate better pre-snap. Because a lot of the busted coverages and the confusion is coming from they're getting the ball snapped on them while they're still trying to communicate as a defense what they're supposed to be doing. Okay? And then they're moving without really knowing where the hell they're all supposed to be going, and it's creating voids. That, I think, will be cleaned up, but it is that's the issue. It's not the run game and all this yardage. We talked about it earlier. It's that. This defense is designed to let you run but not get the big play, so that eventually it's going to cause you into a sack that causes, in a down and distance that gets, either forces a turnover or you end up off the field. It is not designed for you to get a big chunk play and then to play. It's not like everybody wants to keep going, oh, yeah, this is great. They got the pet and bend but don't. He's not a bend. He's like a fire. There's the fire zone. He's not a fire zone. He's more of like a lightning storm blitz type dude.
But you don't know when it's coming. That's the problem.
Right. So
Campbell, it's all going back to Campbell, man.
Again, it's one pebble, but it's big ripples. Okay. My third one is capitalize on the turnover chances that Jimmy G will give you. He's like that Favre. He's going to give you 3 to 4 a game. And sometimes they come consecutively.
In bunches, bunches.
Like that game on Monday night was 4 plays in a row, bang, bang, bang. And it's like, dude, he literally threw it to the other defender 4 straight times. Very erratic throws, very there. So, and then, they didn't get him, and he ended up getting him to overtime. You know what I mean? So you got to capitalize on those opportunities. When you get him rattled and he makes a mistake, you have to get it. If he fumbles it, you can't let his offensive lineman or him recover it. You got to get that fumble. If he throws you one and it hits you in the hands, you got to catch it,
You know who Garoppolo reminds me of?
Who?
Butler. Really, he has a really big arm. He likes to stand in the pocket. He's comfy. And then, bam, once he gets hit, he starts toe tapping. He starts doing the dance. He's unsettled.
He's got a little Cutler in him.
Because think about it. You can say, oh, yeah, and
his
QB
arm
gets hit,
is not nearly as big, though.
I'm not saying the monster arm like Cutler had,
but he's got that confidence. Enough. He's got that confidence.
Exactly. Though. He's in, and that's the thing. How many times have we seen Cutler throw an interception, come back, and he'll throw a touchdown right before half? Garoppolo can do that. But the thing is, if you put the pressures on him, if it's not even a hit, if you just let him know and reach out with a hand and you're there, he will start.
Oh, and I'm going to tell you this right now. Feet. These guys are going to they might not get sacks early on him, but I think they're going to get to him and make him uncomfortable very early.
He likes to try and bounce out of the pocket, too. Not like Rodgers-esque, but he kind of likes to sneak through the tiniest holes. Like, Rodgers doesn't sneak through tiniest holes. He just gets out of the pocket. Like, if he knows something's coming, he just slides over. That's fine. Garoppolo likes to wait till the last second and sneak through a hole. Sometimes I feel like it's designed, but it wouldn't surprise me to have Campbell or Martinez maybe on a spy or
green dog blitz,
or not even that. Rashawn Gary runs a 4.5, man. Guess what Jimmy Garoppolo runs? A 4.6. It wouldn't surprise me one bit to see Gary play along with that defensive front with Za'Darius, Preston Smith, and Clark, and then have Gary drop off as a spy. He can chase him down. We watched him chase down Zeke.
Yeah.
Zeke is a fast kid, man. Gary, we've seen him do it. I didn't mean to interrupt again, but it's just
fine.
an idea.
That was my third one. I was done. That was my third one. So then I was going to pick a special team one, so I was thinking while you were talking. So,
Rashawn Gary gets a sack this weekend. Shut the haters up, Rashawn.
I'm going to see the coverage in special teams. The coverage units got to cover. It's been an issue. The punting has been, pretty decent and solid. And I mean, people got to remember, he was punting in terrible weather that game, too. They're like, oh, my God, he was only punting 40 yards. Yeah, that's a pretty damn good punt when it's snowing and wet and crappy.
Degrees. Yeah.
Like, that's an excellent punt for those conditions, people. Like, come on. The fact that you expect him to boon him. Well, yeah, but they're like, well, he normally punts at 60 yards. Yeah, in good conditions. Like, even the guys today that I was listening to were talking about that. Like, dude, give him some slack. 40 yards is a damn good punt in that kind of weather, man. But the coverage unit's got to be better then,
Well, I mean, like I said, they also had a self-scout on special teams. They didn't only just take offense or defense. They both coordinators in Pettin and the OC to go ahead and self-scout the special teams to see what they see, to see what they can find in Sean Meninga's plan, what's not working. Obviously, something's not working, but they did it together on that. So, like I said, doesn't surprise me with those preparation even in the bye week.
All right. Well,
do you think they go deep in the first or second play of the game just to set the tone?
Because I think that will establish Davante Adams' dominance early.
Not even Adams. Like, I'm just talking Mercedes Lewis, somebody. Just down the field.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I think it's going to be. I think there's a couple of things I think they're going to do by design without forcing it. If that makes any sense, Dave.
Yeah, it's going to be available to them basically.
I think it's going to be getting Davante Adams active and a major part of the offense week in and week out, and also getting him in the end zone week in and week out. Because this team is more balanced and can open the playbook up more when Davante is a threat every play. The way they're operating right now, they take him off the field quite a bit, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but we're getting into the home stretch now where we don't need to rest guys, and so I think that's why I said, kind of him establishing himself. The time for, even if Allen Lazard is out there, it's time to put Davante back on that third down play so that you can have, there's certain things that Allen Lazard still needs to work on where Davante is an established superstar. The whole playbook's open on the 1 yard line when Davante's your single receiver, when I don't believe that with Allen Lazard. I'm not complaining he's out there because, first of all, Davante was hurt. Second of all, it was his first game coming back. And third of all, at that point in the season, those are the opportunities you give to a young player so that if something happens or when you need him in later in the season, he's not thrown out in a situation that he hasn't already built confidence in. Do you understand? Yeah. I'm not saying what they did earlier was bad. I'm saying now you have to look at it different.
Well, that's the thing is they have a scheme that they watched in the Chargers. They tried to force the offense to adapt to Adams. The week before the bye in Carolina, LaFleur had Adams adapt to the offense. He did the learning aspect like we said would happen. He doesn't make the same mistake twice. So, yes, I could definitely see him trying to have Adams establish his dominance, but it wouldn't surprise me to send Adams down the left, or even this. You sit there and have Lazard and MVS on the outside and Adams in the slot.
Oh, wouldn't surprise me one bit. I think you're going to see him used a lot differently to establish. It's not going to be line him up like the Chargers game, like you said. That is trying to curtail to a wide receiver. I think you're
forcing it.
Yeah, and I think this is don't be surprised if Davante Adams comes on a jet sweep for one of those little stupid jet touch passes like you've seen Aaron Jones do to get him so that and that's what I mean. Like
Adams' vision is good too, so that would be a smart play.
To me, it's like that helps establish him as the dominant player. Now, instead of him being lined up one place, every time he breaks the huddle, what's the defense doing? They're spending a second or two watching where 17's moving around. And the slower he goes and lines up, the better off you are as an offense. Excuse me. My lungs are getting sore here sitting in this chair now. The longer that defense takes to line up and be able to communicate what's going on, you have the upper hand on them, okay? Whereas when you try to curtail to him and just line him up on the outside, it's pretty easy. That's why I think you're going to see things that we would never probably normally think we would see Davante Adams doing, lined up in places like Dave said.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that stuff, it's coming in the bye, after a bye week. I mean, and I think part of this was, well, you know what? I've talked quite a bit right now, and my lungs are hurting, Dave, so you understand my idea. I want you to take this seriously. Like, I'm going to start to cough again. I need a break and a drink. My freaking ribs are killing me here. But we talked about this. You're going to understand where I'm going here, Dave, about the offense. God dang it, where was I going? What was I just saying now?
You said, Dave, here, add on to this. I was going to cough, and then...
Yeah, well, we were talking about Davante Adams.
You're basically saying to prepare for the trick stuff in the bye, to have stuff that Kyle Shanahan's not used to.
I want you to talk about our point, about the long play, about why certain things probably haven't been debuted because they knew they had the late bye. That's where I was going, about how remember we were talking about how everything seems to be by design on purpose, where we might look at it and be panicked, and the reason they're never panicked is because it was all planned this way.
Yeah.
I need a break, but that's where I was trying to go, Dave, and I know you know where I was talking about.
Yeah, it was definitely planned like this, because you got to look at it. They had week 1 preseason and all the way to week 8. You had 12 weeks to install an offensive package, and by then it's been installed, it's been functioning, but that's the basic package. What Jay was saying, folks, there's a whole nother about 4 or 5 pages of plays added onto this whole basic package. Now you're going to start adding in all the fun stuff. You're going to start seeing in all the more motions. We've seen it in the past couple weeks, but we have not seen it to an extent where it's happening a ton. The double motions, the double reverses. I mean, just saying, it wouldn't surprise me one bit to go ahead and see LaFleur run some trick play where they have a wide receiver pass the ball downfield. Might not happen, might be a keeper, and they run it as a reverse. But either way, extra stuff added on to the basic package, it can happen. It definitely can happen. Because now you add on that extra week of preparation. I mean, my God. You think of all the fun stuff you can have Jones do. You know what Jones did at UTEP? He threw 3 touchdowns on trick plays. Wouldn't surprise me one bit to see Jones run that in the red zone.
All right, thanks for that break. I needed that. Well,
you're good.
Part of it too is it's the, and I guess what I mean by the long play and why and they had the big picture. It's because in the big picture, we've always said everything was done with the confidence that they were going to be here, that they were going to be in a position where they were going to have to maneuver for the number 1 seed, the number 2 seed, and they were going to be in the playoffs. These guys have never sat down in a room and had a football conversation, I believe, at any point from the time they were all hired and knew they were going to be together. I don't think there's been one conversation that has not ended with the plan or a plan or a piece of the plan being installed with an idea that they were ever going to have to fight their way into the playoffs or squeak their way in. Everything was done with this confidence, this quiet confidence, and planned out that, okay, we need to be able to do this in this week because this matchup is going to matter for us to, do